God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Fuentes.
God bless football, Billy Gill.
Friends, today's episode of God Bless Football is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. I feel like the energy, we're getting this. We're figuring this out. We're getting this energy. Real energy, fake energy, who's to say? But it's getting up there. Yeah. Fuentes, I have some good news for you and the audience as well. Thank you for joining us, by the way. And if you want more of God Bless Football, follow our feed. We have a feed separate from the Le Batard Show feed, which is probably where you're used to kind of getting us. And we have our own feed now, so you want to go and subscribe to that, or we may just disappear off the face of the earth at some point in time. You'll never know where to hear from us again. So, Fuentes, I have some good news for you. We have some new games that we want to play today. Introduce some new games. It's the off season. The draft is right around the corner. Oh, also, just a real quick aside, if you're going to be in the Nashville area for the NFL draft, we are going to be at the DraftKings Sports and Social bar. So you can go and kind of check us out there. We're going to be doing a live draft show during the draft. I believe it'll be on YouTube as well. But if you want to see us in person, come say hi, maybe throw a football at me. I'll throw it back to you. It may result in you getting ejected from the facility, but
it definitely will
be there. Yeah, well, I don't know. We don't know the rules of this bar, but the one in Arizona definitely said no throwing footballs. But if you want to come hang out with us for the draft, do so that day. Hopefully the Titans still have the number one pick, because if not, we will be in Nashville regardless, and we will be celebrating the NFL draft and whoever the Titans pick whenever they make that pick. So, anyways, what I was saying before, we're going to do here one of my favorite games called Here's a Headline. Later on in the show today, we have the debut of a new segment called Anonymous Sources. And we also have a segment that I want to give you the name, but I'm worried that when I do give you the name, you're going to want to tune out. And I'm asking you, don't tune out, because it's
you're going to want to be. You're going to want to listen to this one. Yeah.
This one is called The Jets Story of the Week. Now, if you don't like the Jets, you're probably going to say, I don't want to stick around to hear more Jets talk. But as you know, with the history of the Jets, it's probably not going to be a favorable story of the week for the Jets. No. So we're going to be doing the Jets Story of the Week. Stugotz will not be joining us. We don't know where he is, but hopefully he's back soon.
He's on assignment.
He's on assignment. I actually believe that he's in Las Vegas seeing Dead and Company for the 6,000th time, just kind of making sure everything's good there. They got all the songs in order. They do the right set list and all of that. And once he handles his business out there with the Dead and Company, he'll be back. And then hopefully join us again at some point, or not, whatever. Anyways, follow us if you want on our feed. God bless football. So, are you guys ready to play our first game of the day? It's called Here's a Headline.
Let's do it.
Here's a headline. Headline. Here's a headline. All right, who wants to go first today? You want me to go first? Mikey, you want to go first? Fuentes, you want to go first?
Go first. I like you going.
I like when Billy goes
All
first.
right,
yeah.
Here's a headline, and this is a big one. This was the talk of the NFL earlier this week, and its implications are going to be seen from sea to shining sea. The Dallas Cowboys have made a trade. The Cowboys are in agreement with the New England Patriots for Joe Milton III to be the backup quarterback for Dak Prescott. The Patriots were going to use him as their third quarterback, but the Cowboys are now in need of a backup now that Cooper Rush has left. And I know a lot of you are saying, hey, this is not a headline. This is not a big deal. And I say, no, this was the talk of the league on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
We needed to pay attention to it for a number of reasons, including Dak Prescott is always hurt. So that position is actually not a bad position to be in. And furthermore, I will say, dating back to last week, there were some rumblings that the Cleveland Browns were thinking about trading for Dak Prescott. So, while it seems like a nothing story, Joe Milton might find himself in a very desirable position now with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Joe Milton was kind of one of the hot names. Everybody was trying to sort of bring him in to be their backup in hopes that some of the magic they saw, whether it be in preseason or when he was in college, they could tap that potential and sort of bring him along as a starting quarterback. And, you know, in Dallas, you're going to get work as the backup quarterback. That's just how they're built. And you have CeeDee Lamb. Why not?
It's not a bad place to be if you're going to be a backup quarterback.
This reminds me of Matt Flynn. Remember Matt Flynn? He had one big game with the Packers when Aaron Rodgers sat out, and I think it was like a 6-touchdown game or something crazy like that. And he basically made his whole career
against
off that
the
one
Patriots.
Game. Yes, and he basically made his whole career off that one game. Ended up getting a big contract with Seattle. I don't think he did anything else of note. Yeah. Then Russell Wilson took his job.
They signed him and drafted Russell Wilson in the 5th round,
Correct.
and Russell Wilson beat him out.
Yeah, and Joe Milton had
training camp.
a great week. I want to say 17 or 18, God knows what it is now. And then this is all spurned off that because I remember we were sitting at this very desk saying he was slinging it that week. So, like you said, in Dallas, very likely to get playing time. So hopefully it works out for them. I feel like Jerry Jones likes splashing names, and he was a hot topic, and here we are.
Here we are. All right, Mikey, you have a headline for us?
Well, here's a headline. Speaking of splashing names, Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam has admitted that maybe, just maybe, they made a little bit of a mistake in trading for and signing Deshaun Watson. Quote, "We took a big swing and a miss with Deshaun. We thought we had a quarterback. We didn't. And we gave up a lot of draft picks to get him, so we've got to dig ourselves out of that hole." That hole is it's a chasm. It's a canyon. Right now, if they were to cut Deshaun Watson, it would be $167 million dead cap hit. And it doesn't get much better next year. If they cut him next year, it's $131 million in dead cap. They went all in on a player, and it was the exact wrong player to do so. If you remember, even when the Texans were going to trade him, he was like, "No, Cleveland's out." And then Cleveland's like, "Well, what if we gave you this?" He's like, You're going to give me all? Okay, I'm in. I'll do that. I don't know how the Browns recover within the next 2-3 years from this Deshaun Watson ordeal, but it's funny to hear him say that they had a swing and a miss on a quarterback who's still on the team. I mean, he's hurt and he's probably not going to play this year, but he's still there.
That's the awkward thing of this whole saga, right? Is usually when you say that someone was a massive mistake, a swing and a miss, it's after you've released them. And it's usually like a decent, somewhat respectable amount of time after. It's not like the day you release them, like, this person was a disaster, we had to move on. It's like, let's, be a little classy here. We'll wait. And then, a month from now, someone will catch up to me and I'll just say this thing off the record. And, oh, no, I was supposed to be private conversation. No. Jimmy's just coming out and telling you this was a massive mistake. And to your point, he is still on the roster. So, and they can't get rid of him, or it would make no sense to get rid of him. So they're going to be paying him for the foreseeable future. He, I guess, will still be on the roster, or they'll release him, but still have all that dead cap money. And things are just going to be awkward here. They're going to be awkward here for the Browns. And the Browns may draft a quarterback, even though it seems as though they're trending towards not drafting a quarterback. They still have quarterbacks out there that they may go after, like a Kirk Cousins type. Like, the Browns are the Browns. And, I mean, there's no Brown story of the week. There's a Jet story of the week that we'll get to later. But the Browns, they did all of this for absolutely no reason. Like, they took the hit when Deshaun Watson was going through all of the accusations, which I don't think all of that is even settled. But they kind of went through all of that for nothing, because he was never very good for them.
The crazy part about it is they did all this after that stuff came out.
They knew what they were getting into.
Yeah, when they traded for him, they were like, yeah, we know all about that. And they even sort of built things into his contract to be like, no, you're going to get past this. Like, the year that he got suspended, his salary was $1 million.
Yeah.
So that when he lost that year of salary, he lost $1 million, whereas the rest of it is all guaranteed. And they knew what they were getting into. There's no legal recourse for them to get out of this contract. They just have to kind of take it.
Yeah, they bet everything on Deshaun Watson, and to an extent sold their soul for Deshaun Watson just to have it blow up in their face. And now they've acknowledged it, but can't fix it and can't do anything about it. And they're just kind of like, yeah, we know. Which, by the way, for Jimmy Haslam, it's incredible, because he's like, you know what? This one's on me. And it's like, yeah, we know this one's on you. And also, you're the owner of the team. So there's no ramifications. So like, way to be the guy that's going to take one for the team here, but there are no consequences for this mistake by you whatsoever.
I got to tell you, though, it's nice to hear an owner take some ownership of some of his mistakes. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Oh, a little teasy. Okay.
Brown should have been in on Joe Milton.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah, they must have been, because if you're not going to play the guy that you're just giving truckloads of money to, you might as well take a shot on Joe Milton for a few years. Maybe this pans out, maybe it doesn't, and then you're lucky to get in for a few cheap years, you know?
Can I tell you what we will see at some point this NFL season, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I think that the Browns are going to end up with another like UFL quarterback on their roster. So like if you're watching the UFL that's going on now, keep an eye on the quarterbacks, because one of them may be the Browns quarterback, by week 12.
Yeah, I'm not really sure like how many years Deshaun Watson has left on this deal, but this is the perfect excuse to like just start taking a ton of swings on quarterbacks that may or may not pan out, right? Because why not? Like, you're probably not going to be any good unless you think Kirk Cousins is really going to move the needle. Like, you might as well just take some swings. You have a good excuse. Like, this guy just didn't work out, so we're going to try all this, and then once this is off the books, we'll get back into it. Well, I guess you can't really do that because you have the Myles Garrett clock now. So
Deshaun Watson's playing contract runs through the 2026 season, but they're going to be paying him for at least 3 more years after that with void years.
Jeez.
It's a disaster.
All right.
It's a total disaster.
You have a headline?
Yeah, speaking of total disasters, the Trey Hendrickson saga in Cincinnati. Trey Hendrickson disappointed by the Bengals' stance on his contract. Now, for those who don't know, Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks last year. He had 17 and a half. The Bengals don't really seem to be interested in paying guys on defense. Katie Blackburn, the team's executive vice president, said at winter meetings, I think he should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at. I think some of it is on him to be happy at some point. And if he's not, that's what holds it up sometimes. So, it takes him to say yes to something, and also we all have to respect in the world for him. So he didn't like that. I totally understand. He's 31 years old, coming off 2 consecutive 17.5 sack seasons. He's seeing Jamar Chase get his money, Higgins get his money, and then it kind of figures out what's left for me. So I can understand why he'd be disappointed in that.
I'm pretty sure that was a comment straight out of the what not to say about a player you're negotiating with.
Yeah,
that was like the absolute worst thing you could say. Like, he should just be happy with what he's got.
Yeah, be happy with the rate you got, basically, is what you're saying there.
The rate, like it's an interest rate.
It seems very much not how to handle one of your better players, who he has also said, they haven't really been in contact with me. And they told me last season that we were going to sort this out this offseason, because I believe this is the last year that he's under contract. And it would appear as though, and I don't know this, the Bengals don't really seem very much interested in resolving this issue with those comments. Or it was the absolute worst PR move ever made by this team. I don't know what they're thinking by making those comments, because if you're him, why would you want to re-sign with this team at this point?
1 more year on his deal too. He has the next year. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2026.
Okay.
So, and
why are bad teams always so bad? Like, I mean, we're going to do the Jets thing in a little bit. That's going to be hysterical. We're going to, we just talked about the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, why are these teams always so bad? Why can't they learn from some of their mistakes?
But a little unfair to put the Bengals.
I'm not talking about Joe Burrow. I'm not talking about Jamar. They're very talented, but the organizations themselves are dumpster fires most of the time. Why is that?
I wouldn't go and put the Jets and Browns with the Bengals just yet. But this is like a seriously bad.
The only difference between the Jets, Browns, and Bengals is the Bengals hit on Joe Burrow, and that is the only difference.
They went to a Super Bowl,
because they hit on Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but that's what it takes. But it's also it's like what Billy said. What you said too, Mikey, is this probably just doesn't have to be said. Like, you could just be like, "Oh, we're in negotiations," and that's it.
It definitely doesn't have to be said. You're wondering why it is that these teams are always in this position. It's because these teams make comments like that. Like, the people running the team think, you know what? This is an appropriate thing to say. And that's why they're these teams.
It's flabbergasting to me how some organizations can run so. Yes, good word. This is by the way, in case you couldn't tell, I'm feeling a little sick today. I'm a little under the weather, so this is going to be my Jordan. This is going to be my Jordan flu game. This is it. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me how some teams can run so smooth and efficiently, and whether or not they have the talent and they win every year is not the case. But bad teams are just going to be bad.
Yeah. When we come back, Mike Fuentes, we're going to introduce you to a new game called the Jets Story of the Week. Friends, God Bless Football is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Headlines, or here's a headline, as we call it, kind of goes on longer than I thought it would. So I had a bunch of headlines that we didn't get to here. So I want a rapid fire lightning round of here's a headline, because I have 3 more headlines that we didn't get to. And then I want to introduce you guys to our new game, the Jets Story of the Week. Does that sound good for you guys? Or do you have other plans that you want to do? Do you want to just talk about something else? How are we feeling? What's going on with our lives? What do you think?
Everybody in the AL Central is 2-4. That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe that the Braves, at
0-7.
time of taping, still have not won a game.
But you know what's funny about that?
I miss Jabba.
Yeah, we were talking
too.
Jabba. We were talking about the Braves this morning, and we said they had a brutal start to the season. You have a 7-game road trip out in Los Angeles, Southern California area, against San Diego, and then you played the Dodgers. But now you got 3 games at home against the Marlins. It's a get right series.
I don't know. Could
Marlins
be a
are
measuring
feisty.
stick.
Yeah, Marlins are feisty, but
Could be a measuring stick series. By the way, thoughts and prayers to Job and his family. His dad passed away a couple weeks ago, so I have spoken to him since then. He's doing well, but obviously it's a trying time for him and his family. So we do miss Job, but we love Job and his family. So hopefully they're all doing a lot better now. Here's a headline. I don't know another way to transition from
there's
that.
no way
good transition.
Yeah.
Good
Just do
transition.
it.
Yeah.
Here's a headline. Roger Goodell says that we should know within the next 60 days if NFL players will be allowed to play in the 2028 Olympics as part of the flag football team. They're negotiating, obviously, with the players' union and a number of entities, but the NFL players who have been talking about wanting to participate for both the U.S. and their home countries will know within the next 60 days, according to Roger Goodell, if they will be allowed to participate in the Olympics. Here's another interesting factor, is that that's all well and good, but it's 2025. So the players that think that they want to participate in the Olympics in 2025 might not be the ones that are participating in 2028. Tyreek Hill, who's constantly talking about how he wants to be on that team. Tyreek Hill. So
I'm wondering how many players' skill set would transfer well to flag football.
Can I tell you
Because a lot of people, please go ahead.
All of them, okay? Like this whole business that we get from like the captain of the flag football team that compares himself to Patrick Mahomes, and he says that he would do better on that team than Patrick Mahomes. Sir, respectfully, no. That is not the case. These are professional football players. The skill position players will do just fine on the U.S. flag football team at the Olympics. Go on. Sorry. I feel like I undercut what you were going to ask, but go on. All of them is the answer. They will all do just fine in a flag football game.
I asked the question to get that response. That's
Okay.
all. I asked the question to get exactly what I got. It worked.
The idea that there are NFL players that are less skilled at touch football than the people who
Flag football.
flag football, the idea that the people who play flag football, respectfully to all of the flag football players out there, the idea
Let me get Billy.
that failed football players who resort to playing flag football are better at playing flag football than the professionals who play the actual game is pure idiocy to me. Respectfully to everyone involved in this situation. Respectfully.
Exactly what I wanted.
Fuentes?
Exactly what I wanted.
Respectfully.
You're right, and I don't think like a 38-year-old Tyreek Hill would be bad on that team. I feel like he'll still be very fast. Which is the number one skill required for flag football, I'm guessing, right? Like speed.
He will be fast. I mean, yeah. I will take him, and people will get mad at me for this. I will take a 38-year-old Tyreek Hill to beat Team France in flag football. Yes, I would.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he'll be 38. I think he'll be younger than that. I think he'll be like 35 or 36 or something.
I would take a 38-year-old Tyreek Hill, whatever year that is, to beat Team France.
Correct. Like, I'm sorry.
Which team would you be worried
I'm sorry,
about?
Belgium. You're going to get smoked by Tyreek Hill. That's just the way it is.
Which team are you sitting Tyreek Hill?
Well, the only team I'm worried about is Canada. Right? So, sitting Tyreek Hill. Let me see. I guess
we're gonna get some Alouettes. We're gonna get some Alouettes out there to take on. Yeah, get out of here.
I guess if Estonia is in the tournament, I'm probably sitting Tyreek Hill against Estonia. But I don't know how much Estonians love flag football. So
I'm not. Who's
the quarterback for Team USA?
It's 3 years from now.
Okay,
you have to think.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Who's the worst quarterback Team USA could send and still win a gold medal?
Zach Wilson.
Joe Milton.
I would love Joe Milton on a flag football team.
Joe Milton would be fantastic.
Yeah, because I'm thinking because if I'm Josh Allen, I guess like they'd all want to play, right? Because it's flag football, they get to have a good time. Yeah,
but see, Josh Allen to me, that's one of the guys where it's like you can't really run somebody over.
Yeah, but I think he's still probably faster. You know, it would be a great flag football quarterback.
That's why. Lamar Jackson.
Kyler Murray,
Lamar Jackson, Joe Milton. Give me those guys.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to vie for that position. Like, is it going to be the guy that has won Super Bowls that wants now the medal, or is it going to be the guy that hasn't been able to? That's like, this is how I'm going to cement my legacy. Is like, I will be the guy that wins the first gold medal for football for the U.S.
You know what else I'm looking forward to? I didn't know he was from there when I'm watching flag football. When all of a sudden you see some guy and you're like, I didn't know he was German.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that his great grandfather
that's
half German and is eligible.
Billy just said it. You're gonna get a lot of guys with like a stretched ancestry who will never make Team USA, but all of a sudden they're like burners on Denmark. Dude, you know what I mean?
23andMe is going to be doing monster business in 2028.
They went out of business too fast.
Connection points. It went out of business?
Yeah, they filed for bankruptcy. And there's like a big controversy on the internet now. Like, delete all your information from 23andMe before they sell it to the highest bidder.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so one of those will be back, and it will. Yeah, Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
One of those is going to be doing monster business in 2028, so we can find some connection points. Hey, here's a headline. Andrew Whitworth is pushing for the quote-unquote Shield Award, a working title. I will tell you, it's been noted many times, this is a working title, and the Shield Award would go to the best offensive lineman each year as part of the NFL honors. Andrew Whitworth is not thrilled with the idea that offensive linemen get overlooked. Andrew Whitworth himself won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award a number of years ago, but it has been noted that an offensive lineman has not won any of the other major awards outside of the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. So Andrew Whitworth is pushing for the Shield Award at the NFL honors. Your thoughts?
I have no problem. I think that's a fantastic idea. Name's got to go. Name's a little bit
working title.
Little bit cheesy. It's
a working title. I will say this, if you're asking for my 2 cents, which you haven't asked for, but if you're asking for my 2 cents, I think the Shield Award, that is a pre-ceremony award that is handed out. That is something that you inform the winner of as they're on the red carpet. Hey, congratulations, you won the Shield Award presented by Degree or whoever is going to present the Shield Award.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of home protection thing, like by ADT
Shield Award.
Correct, ADT Shield Award, something like that.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I could see that. But that's like a pre-ceremony thing. Like, we're not going to take substantial amounts of time to dedicated to the Shield
off-camera award. Yeah,
I disagree because I think offensive linemen are some of the funnier guys on teams, and I think you could be missing a hell of a speech. Offensive linemen are kind of like lefty relievers; they're all a little bit off. You kind of have to be to do the work that they do. Now, there's obviously some boring ones, but I think if you got an offensive lineman in front of a microphone for a few minutes, you'll get a few good chuckles.
Okay, so I think then if we do pass the Shield Award working title, if we pass the Shield Award and we do it during the main ceremony, you really need to think about who the first winner is and not necessarily have it be the best offensive lineman. You need someone who, to Mikey's point, is going to deliver a good speech, a good player, obviously, but deliver a good speech, because I feel like there's a 1-year testing ground on this. And if it goes poorly, off the main show.
I'm going to expand it. Okay. All awards. You know what you should be having? Tryouts for your speech, whether you make the broadcast or not. Oh, this person wants to win Best Actor, but his speech is terrible. No, get that off. Give me the guy that's going to entertain me for a few minutes.
Okay,
I don't care who wins. I want a good speech.
Let me ask you a question.
If the MVP is boring, I don't want to see that speech. Just tell me who won. That's all I care about. But if you're telling me the offensive lineman who won the Shield Award is going to be entertaining, let that guy go.
So just to be clear here, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this properly. You're saying that before it makes air, they need to disclose their speech and then it's determined whether or not it's on air? Or are you saying that all of the participants should need to perform their speech for a committee, almost like an old school beauty pageant where you ask the questions and then the award is given not only to the best, but also taken into account is the quality of the speech?
I was all for the former, and then what you said makes me think I kind of want to see the latter. I mean, the former was like, because if you did the work, you should get the award. I just don't need to see your speech.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So if you won the best whatever, you should get the award. But now I kind of want to see a beauty pageant type thing at some of these things.
What if we did go full beauty pageant with the NFL honors, and it's like, okay, you have your past performance, the game tape, whatever. That's one portion.
30% of your score.
Yeah, you have the speech. That's another percentage, and then, boom, swimsuit competition.
Can't you see it like, give me an offensive lineman, and you go, your quarterback was just pushed down by a defensive lineman after the play. How would you resolve the situation? And you give him a microphone, and he's got to talk about brotherhood and all that stuff.
Okay,
yeah, so I kind of want to see that.
I'm gonna put down. So we have past performance. We're gonna have the speech. We're going to have the question, we're going to have the swimsuit, and we're going to have the formal wear. And the formal wear has to be different from the suit that they wear on the red carpet. So you're going to need 3 outfits at least for this award. And I think that what you do is you break it up over the night, right? So like maybe honestly, maybe this is what we do. Maybe we do this for the MVP. Right? And see how it goes. And then throughout NFL honors, we have them come and like, okay, this is the portion of the MVP award that we're going to dedicate to the formal wear. And here's the question and answer, right? And then at the end, you do the speeches and then you announce the winner. And then if that works out for the MVP, then we extend it to all the awards. And then the NFL honors is just like 15 hours long. I like this.
Yes, me too.
Hey, here's a headline. Mark Davis, owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, said, quote, according to The Athletic, quote, "This is my favorite time of year. We're all undefeated. You always want to compete, but you have to be honest. Are we going to win the Super Bowl this year? I don't know. It's possible."
You're not.
Good for him.
I'll go ahead and spoil. I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. You're not. But yeah, it's my favorite time of year too. Anonymous sources, rule changes.
I kind of love this quote, to be honest.
I do too. Yeah, it was a roller coaster for me.
Yes, because he's like, I'm a realist, but maybe it's kind of a little bit of everything. Like, you know what? Because they come out and they give you like the cliches, like, oh, we're gonna put a competitive team on the field, and all this crap. He's like, well, are we? I don't know. Maybe. Like, I kind of like it.
It was a roller coaster. It started out with, this is my favorite time of the year. We're all undefeated. It's like, loser mentality. Here we go. And he's like, you always want to compete. But let's be honest. Are you going to win the Super Bowl? And you're like, Mark, I don't know. I don't know. We're kind of going downhill. You're realistic, but I don't know if I want to hear that from the owner that he's already given up on the season. He goes, I don't know. It's possible. Boom. We're right back up top. I'm in on Mark Davis.
You got to love a good, let's be honest. Yeah. Whenever you hear that in a quote, it's a banger. Like, let's be honest. It's a banger.
The thing about the let's be honest, though, rarely followed by honesty. In this case, very honest here. Very honest here. The let's be honest is kind of like, nah, I'm looking for an excuse here. But he's like, let's be honest. We're the Raiders. Come on. What Gino, come on. Let's be honest here. What are we going to do?
Pete Carroll just in a back room like, oh, yeah, what are they going to do?
Yeah. Kind of takes the pressure off the players too, right? It's like, well, the owner doesn't seem to care if we're good or not.
He's super chill. He just signs a check. Yeah. It's awesome.
Hey, Mike Fuentes, you want to real quick here debut our new segment called the Jets Story of the Week?
Can you do it in 25 seconds?
Yeah, we can do it in 25 seconds.
You know what? We can take longer. How about that? I know the Jets. Wow. I know the Jets are important.
Look at this guy, loosey goosey Mike Fuentes.
That's right. Let's be honest. All right, it's April. All right.
Okay, let's be honest. It's April. The draft is a couple weeks away. Again, if you want to hang out with us in the draft night, DraftKings Sports and Social. We're going to be there for the first round of the NFL draft on Thursday, April 24th. Okay, this is how the Jets Story of the Week goes, Mike Fuentes, and this is a segment that you're going to love because you are the star of this segment. So the Jets Story of the Week works like this. Mikey A is going to give you a Jets Story of the Week, and I'm going to give you a Jets Story of the Week, and you are going to determine which is the Jets Story of the Week.
Spoiler, neither one is going to make the Jets look good.
Oh,
wow. That's
all right.
Oof, yeah.
You want me to go first, or you want to go first, Mike?
You go ahead first.
All right. Here's my submission to Mike Fuentes for the Jets Story of the Week. This week, Jets owner Woody Johnson discussed receiving an F grade in the player's report card. And he said it was totally bogus. And that is my submission to the Jets Story of the Week.
Okay. Man, give me that's hard to beat.
Yeah, give me my.
But I think I could beat it. That's hard to beat, but I think I could beat it.
It is the complete opposite of Mark Davis's, let's be honest. Because Woody Johnson has come out and said, an F for me? Owner of the stable New York Jets? Impossible. This must be bogus. This whole system is rigged and everybody is lying to me because I'm Woody Johnson and everybody loves me.
It's hard to beat, but I can beat it.
Okay.
This week, Woody Johnson said,
"Oh boy,
I think Justin Fields is going to be a total winner for us. He's going to be the starter, as you found out. I've been impressed with him since his college days. It was him or Trevor Lawrence. They selected Zach Wilson. They had the second pick. They didn't take him. They took Zach Wilson, but he's saying now it was him or Justin Fields. I don't know how it got Zach Wilson." Jet Story of the Week.
I'm supposed to pick which one is real?
No, they're both real. Those are both.
They're both unfortunately very real. They're both unfortunately very real.
That's what I was going to say. The way Mikey passionately delivered that, I know it's real, and Billy was so excited to tell me the it's bogus part that I knew that was real too. So what am I supposed to do?
Unfortunately.
Just pick which one is your Jet
Which
story
one is the Jet Story of the Week?
Oh, they're both around the owner. I'm going to say Mikey A's just because it's funny that he's like, Justin Fields was the guy, but then they didn't take him. So.
But they didn't take him. Yeah, it was him the whole time. Yeah, we didn't take him though.
Mikey A is the inaugural winner of the Jet Story of the Week.
Yeah, I was gonna vote for that one too, Mikey A. That's a great Jet Story of the Week. What a franchise you root for, huh?
Go
Jets.
Thank you. Go Jets.
When we come back, another news segment called Anonymous Sources, presented by Smirnoff. And we're back. God Bless Football and our new segment, Anonymous Sources, is presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. Mikey, you told me about Anonymous Sources, and when I say you told me about it, you just told me that it existed. And I immediately got very excited because I don't know if you've caught on to this. If you say the word game, I'm a generally excitable person, and I just love the idea of games. So you have a new segment that you want to debut called Anonymous Sources, presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. So I don't know what it is. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how it works. So I'm just going to hand it off to you, and then you could take it from here.
So essentially, this is like Mark Davis. This is my favorite time of the year too, because you have rule changes, contracts, and anonymous sources talking about other teams. And I went through and scoured and went to one website and collected a
Wow.
bunch of anonymous comments from random NFL coaches and execs about other teams. And what I want to do is read a quote from an anonymous source, and you guys tell me which team he's talking about.
Okay, I have a question before we get started.
Please.
So this is all one source about all different teams?
These are all different sources about all
Wow.
different teams.
Okay, I love this. So we're not
Yes.
we're guessing which team the source is talking about.
Yes. And
Okay.
I only changed very little. Like I took out a name and might have added a position so that it was easier, without giving it away.
Okay, so you didn't change anything to be deceptive. You just gave it more context or less context.
I gave it less context. So like instead of saying a quarterback's name, I said their quarterback.
I got it. Okay,
Gotcha.
Fuentes, I'm going to be keeping score. Are me and Fuentes competing against each other?
Yes, of course.
Oh, I love it.
I'll give you guys a choice: AFC or NFC today. Because you gotta narrow it down a little bit.
Okay, Fuentes can choose.
I'm gonna go AFC.
Okay, AFC, good.
All right, you ready? First one.
All right.
Quote: how can you build around him to get him where he needs to go? I'm going to go with fronts and defense over skill, especially when you already have one of the highest paid receivers. To sign another one, that's interesting to me.
Bengals.
Yeah, that's an easy Bengals.
There you go. You guys nailed it.
Wow.
One for one, both of you.
If it was okay, if you had said
we'll both get the points.
Yeah, if you had said that a season ago, I would have said Dolphins.
Okay.
Well, not the worst.
Well, whenever Waddle's contract was, yeah.
Here's a quote from one executive about an AFC team. By changing the offensive coordinator out, it almost appears like they are changing the styles of players that they deal with and wanting a little bit more tough, a little bit more finish, and maybe a little less athlete.
Man, if it was the NFC, I would have a guess. AFC.
Can you read it again?
By changing the offensive coordinator out, it almost appears like they are changing the styles of players that they deal with and wanting a little bit more tough, a little bit more finish, and maybe a little less athlete.
A little less athlete.
If you guys want a lifeline, I can give you the division.
I'm going to take the Texans.
Yeah, I'm going to say, just to have some variance, I'm going to say the Jaguars.
Billy is 2 for 2.
Wow.
Billy is 2 for 2.
I'm just I'm not really up to date on offensive coordinators, sorry.
All right, Fuentes, you go first this time.
Okay.
Quote: they just don't have enough there to warrant that they are going to have a better commitment to the run game and better protection for their quarterback. Contrast them with Chicago, which made 2 trades for starting offensive linemen before free agency. That has not been their way up front.
I'm going to say the Texans again.
Billy?
The inclusion of Chicago.
Well, it's an AFC team, like we've already established.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I think it could be the Dolphins.
Final answer?
I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Could be the Dolphins, yeah.
Billy's 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Billy is 3. Billy. You
Those are their problems. Those are their problems.
All right, here we go. I like this one. Quote: are they drafting or tanking? You're not guaranteed Arch Manning is going to come out or that he will agree to go there. So my guess is they need to take a quarterback this year. If you were tanking, I don't know why you would pay the guys that you paid. Fuentes first.
AFC team. Huh.
Are they drafting or tanking? You are not guaranteed Arch Manning is going to come out or that he will go there. So my guess is they have to draft a quarterback this year.
If that was NFC, that so could be the Giants, but it's not the NFC.
Yeah, the thing is, it's
got to be. If you were tanking, I don't know why you would pay the guys you paid.
Oh, the Browns.
Oh wait.
Yeah, that's a good guess. I'll go with them too, but Fuentes will get the point.
Billy's on fire.
I said the Browns.
Fuentes, you got Fuentes, you got it, but Billy hasn't missed
because
yet.
you know what gave it away? You said there's no guarantee he'll go there, so that automatically means it's like a historically bad team.
By the way, I had to change it because the quote was, "There's no guarantee he'll go to Cleveland."
Okay.
All right.
There's a lot of NFC teams. I mean, that would have fit the Giants perfectly, but
we'll save the Giants for maybe next week.
Well, because you paid 2 quarterbacks this offseason, so why would you waste money on them if you're tanking? But anyways, let's not get bogged down.
All right. If you are a defensive coordinator, there are things about their quarterback that you hate playing against, while an offensive coordinator would not want him as a quarterback. But again, what are your realistic options? Billy first.
AFC. Now,
if you are a defensive coordinator, there are things about their quarterback that you hate playing against, while an offensive coordinator would not want him as a quarterback. But again, what are your realistic options?
This was said this week.
Well, I don't know about this week.
Can I guess?
About this offseason.
I think it's the Jets.
I'm going to say the Indianapolis Colts.
Billy cannot be stopped.
What the? Did you send Billy an email? Like,
I did not.
Because Justin Fields could be a problem schematically.
But I don't want him.
You don't want him.
But I don't want him.
But you could say the same thing about Daniel Jones, but Anthony Richardson.
No, well.
I could also see people saying that about Tua, but I don't think he would have done 2 Dolphins.
I probably wouldn't. All right. Do we want 2 more or are we good?
Give me 2 more.
Sure, why not?
2 more.
I don't know where we are on time, and I don't.
This is a great game, Mikey. By the way, it's a great game.
This is a great game. I love
this. This is just the AFC edition, also.
Exactly. The NFC one is bigger. Quote: They signed a bunch of 1-year deals with older players, putting a ton of pressure on their drafts. They are doing it the Ravens way, but when you have money to spend, like they did, go get better players. You know it's not the Ravens. They signed a bunch of 1-year deals with older players, putting a ton of pressure on their drafts. They are doing it the Ravens way, but when you have money to spend like they did, go get better players.
I'm going to get stumped here.
This one seems tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
I don't know who was signing 1 year.
Well, yeah, 1-year veterans.
Yeah.
1-year veterans.
By the way, there's somebody in their car listening to this right now who's screaming out the answer, and I just want you to know I hear you.
Because that's their team.
And you're right.
Yeah, that's their team.
And you're right.
Yeah.
I love this game because it can be played at home with the audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
1-year players. Signed a bunch of 1-year players. Who the hell? Well, a team that had a bunch of money, which means they had a lot of cap room, which means they're probably not a good team.
I have a guess, but I don't feel confident about it at all.
Let it rip.
Everything you said so far has been correct.
Yeah,
I know. That's why I feel extra pressure,
going,
but I'm going to be wrong.
I'm going to say shot in the dark, Los Angeles Chargers.
I was thinking them. I was also thinking potentially Patriots, but the Stephon Diggs thing was not a 1-year deal, but I know they had a lot of money. I'm going to stick with the Patriots, but I don't know that that's right.
Fuentes gets one back. It is the Chargers. All right.
There you go.
Last one for all the marbles.
Sure.
Quote: They went through a lot of change last offseason. If they could minimize change this offseason, that is probably a plus. And it looks like they did that. They went through a lot of change last offseason. If they could minimize change this offseason, that is probably a plus. And it looks like they did that.
Okay. Buffalo didn't have a lot of change.
Billy, I have this in my stomach, like the article I took most of these from.
No, I wish. What site did you get this from? Well, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Yeah. Because then you're gonna have fans looking it up next week, and then the whole
then the NFC version is ruined.
Correct, yeah. AFC team who had a lot of change, but trying not to have a lot of change this year. I'm gonna eliminate the Steelers in my own mind. AFC team. I'm gonna say the Kansas City Chiefs.
Billy?
I'll go with the Bills.
For the first time today, nobody got it right.
Oh, who was it?
It was the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore. That's a
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
they did. They went through a lot of change last offseason. They got rid of, I think, one or both of their coordinators. They went to the run game. They brought in Derrick Henry. They lost some offensive linemen, and now, kind of a quiet offseason.
Yeah, you're right.
So we had one that we said was all for all the marbles, and we both got it wrong. Well, do you have another one that we can't? Okay, let's do one more.
We were in the area, though.
I'm out of AFC. I can give you an NFC one.
No, all right, when we come back.
Go to break.
For all the marbles, we'll play anonymous sources with one NFC team, plus a sad day as we mourn the loss of some of our friends when we come back. Anonymous sources might be my favorite game that we have played since last week, where we did Bracket Bonanza. Even though I'm going to be honest with you, I like anonymous sources better than Bracket Bonanza. So,
wow.
Unfortunately, I believe by some faulty scoring, there's a tie now. So we have one more that was supposed to be for all the marbles, and we both got it wrong. So do you have another one so we can have a definitive winner this week? Even though I feel like I was the winner, but that's fine.
Oh, it's all right. I went back into the AFC. I scoured. I found one more quote about an AFC team. All right. Quote, they signed okay players to good-sized deals, and I do not believe in free agency like that. If you are going to do that, go the Chargers route, sit and wait, and go for one-year contracts. So we had somebody killing the Chargers for this, and now we're having somebody say they should have done that. They signed okay players to good-sized deals, and I do not believe in free agency like that. If you're going to do that, go the Chargers route, sit and wait, and go for one-year contracts.
So here are the clues. They signed players to good deals, okay players to good deals, but it's free agency, so it's not people that signed their own players back again. These are free agents that they brought in and have overpaid, according to this source. It's not the Chargers because we mentioned the Chargers. It's not the Ravens.
Not a repeat.
We just did the Ravens.
Not a repeat.
It's not a repeat.
There's no repeats.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Not anonymous sources.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
I'm going to go with
Fuentes.
I'm going to go with the New England Patriots.
Guys, neither of you. Give me another guess. Give me another guess.
I'm going to go with the I'm going to go with It's going well.
Give us a division. Give us
No, don't do that.
Yeah, because then it's only 4 teams. It knocks it down too much.
I'll go with the Colts.
The Colts. Damn it.
I don't know who the Colts signed.
Yeah, just to break it up, I'm going to say Raiders.
He just said Raiders.
He said
I said the Raiders. That was his guess. That was his guess. Is it the Colts?
That was his guess. No, neither of you got it right.
Okay, good. We're really narrowing this down.
Wow. It was such a good game
now
until now.
win anonymous sources.
Yeah. Who was it?
All right, Jaguars.
The answer was the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, bastards! First guess. By the way, before we go, on a somber note, we lost some friends this week, and I feel like it is only fitting that we say a few words here. So I want to say R.I.P. To the Chain Gang, which will no longer be part of the NFL. It will be, but it won't be. The NFL is going to be going to a video-based system in terms of putting the ball down there, but the Chain Gang will get a little pity sideline spot there where they can keep going up and down the field should they want to, but it doesn't really matter what they're doing. They're just there for fun season, just in case. So rest in peace, the Chain Gang. I'm not sure if anyone has any thoughts on the Chain Gang they'd like to share at this time.
Yeah, like when your child wants to play video games with you, and you don't really want them messing up anything, so you just give them a controller that's not plugged in, and you get really excited when things happen, when they get excited. That's what we've turned the chain gang into, and not so sure I'm upset they're leaving us, but it was nice knowing you for all those years.
The NFL makes so much money that they're not even laying off irrelevant workers anymore. They're just, you guys go ahead and do it as a backup.
No, very kind words by both of you. Thank you for joining us this week on God Bless Football. We'll see you next week.